Hey guys, this is KUAF. I'm here with Auralai, Stephanie, Nathan. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for playing some songs for us.
Yeah, you bet.
So, can you just talk to me a little bit about the songs that you picked today, why you chose them, and what you played?
Oh, yeah, great. What we played Be Here, which I like to call the codependency song. If you really listen to it, it talks all about sort of like this really unhealthy sort of codependent dynamic. Like, you don't need to try to get things from other people. I can be everything you need me to be. um, so I don't know why I chose it. Probably just because we wanted to play it. And then the other
It's a pretty
song
song.
was Family Tree, and that one is more about like generational trauma and it's based off a book. It didn't start with you. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
My sister sent that book to me about a year ago. She mailed it to me. She's like, "You're gonna love this." And I read 2 chapters, and I was like, "I think I get it. I'm gonna write a song about it."
And you use that in a lyric.
Yeah. Yep. It didn't start with you. It didn't start with me.
Yep.
There you go. And so these songs, you submitted them for the Tiny Desk contest. Was this your first time applying to be part of the Tiny Desk?
Not for me. Was it your first?
It was. And we actually
my
submitted
goodness.
the Coyote is
Yeah.
what we submitted. It was a different song.
Yes,
actually.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He calls
And-
it Coyote. I call it Coyote.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is. We love Nate. I like picking on Nate. I can't tell you why. Yeah, this wasn't my first time applying. I've applied, I want to say 4 or 5 times over the years. So yeah, it was fun doing it with someone else this time.
And what is it about this contest and the Tiny Desk in particular that makes you want to submit? Like, you kept going back to those
Oh yeah.
submissions.
Well, the opportunity available if you get in, if you win the whole thing, is incredible. Like they put you on a tour. I mean, obviously, Tiny Desk Concert Series has a huge audience, so it's just a lot of access. for
Yeah, and we
people.
watched a ton of Tiny Desk concerts ourselves, so it's
Oh
just
yeah,
sounds attractive, It's
Yeah.
cool.
yeah.
Absolutely. And you won you'll be playing at the Arkansas Tiny Desk Showcase, which is all the musicians from here in Arkansas who've applied, and you guys were some of the winners of that contest. How does it feel to be seen on that level in that stage?
No, you take it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I really let any of it sink in. I've just been rolling with the punches.
I mean, it's pretty exciting. We're gonna have the opportunity to go down and play in Little Rock. I don't think you've played down in Little Rock yet.
I've never even set foot in Little Rock
Yeah,
yet.
Wow.
yeah. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. We've got a lot of friends and family down there too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm excited. I feel like it seems like it's gonna be a really well curated event, and those are always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so can you tell me just a little bit about how the two of you met and how this formed and maybe how Auralai has changed over the years?
Oh my gosh. Let's start with, I guess, how it's changed, then we can get into the nitty-gritty of how we met. So Auralai originally started as a 3-piece, like, indie pop outfit a long time ago in Wisconsin. And, musicians are the most unreliable people in the world usually, so that kind of fell apart, and then it became a solo adventure. And then I met my music partner in Wisconsin, ironically also named Nate.
Nathan.
And we played as a duo for, I want to say, about 8 years until I moved away, and then became a solo adventure again. It's just kind of bopped back and forth between band and solo and band and solo. And then,
And then my dog escaped and ended up at her house, and I was a new neighbor in the neighborhood, so she figured it was my dog and brought her to my house and saw I had some guitars up on the wall, and I was like, yeah, I'll play music. Let's jam.
yeah, it was a really slow start, though. We kind of,
Yeah.
like, texted once every month about it here and there. I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure if our styles align or not. But we can see. And then honestly, it was for the Tiny Desk contest, the national one, that I reached out to him. I was like, hey, do you want to try to do something for real? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to. And we worked out a song, and I'm like, okay, well, that sounded pretty good. Do you want to do some more things? And it's just kind of blossomed from there, and now
Yeah.
he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, talk about moving to Arkansas, from Wisconsin, and maybe how that, or if it has shaped the way that you play music, how the sound has evolved or changed.
Oh,
Has
wow.
it impacted it at all?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure that it has. So there was kind of an interim where I moved to Upper Michigan in there, and then I moved to Arkansas. I don't know. It's hard to know if the move changed it because I feel I turned 30 in Arkansas. Like
Yeah.
it's a huge milestone, I think. Like so much development happens when you kind of flip that flip that number. So it's hard to know what change came from moving here and what change came from just, continuing to mature as an adult. So
Absolutely. And for you being a part of the band, and like I know she sort of is the face of Auralai and drives that sound, but how is the collaborative process in there and coming up with the songs and changing the music?
Well, she is a brilliant writer and composer, and so she'll come over with an idea, and usually her idea is 80% to 90% already done, and we just jam it out, and we have a really good communication in our writing process, so we both express what we like, what we don't like, and
yeah.
yeah.
There hasn't been any fighting yet. It's been pretty easy to be like, yeah, I'm not loving that. Can we change it? So, yeah, and he's a fantastic guitar. I mean, you just heard it. He's a fantastic guitar player. It started out with, we first started trying to write together with him on acoustic guitar and me on acoustic cello. Or just cello, as everyone else calls it. and I was like, yeah, it feels like pretty close. I don't know. Can we try electric? And then the second he touched the electric guitar, I'm like, oh, that's where you live. Like, you're very fluent on electric. You're very comfortable on electric. And it all went from there. Some of the stuff he writes, I realized that I'm humming it just out of nowhere. And I'm like, gosh, that's really pretty. We should do something with that. And he's like, that's my guitar part for Coyote. And I'm like, you wrote that? That's so good.
Well, speaking of the cello, can you tell me about, I hear she has a name.
Yeah, it's Cranky Agnes.
Can you tell me how Cranky Agnes got her name and a little bit about her character?
Yeah, her character. Wow. So, first things first, Agnes was built in the basement of Count Dracula's castle. So there's a luthier that took up residency in the basement of the castle, which is really, like, who dibs for that? They're like, ooh, I call the basement of a vampire's castle. Anyway, so she's from Romania. She's from Count Dracula's castle. And she got her name because, as most acoustic instruments, she's really finicky in climate changes, which when you're touring and on the road, it's like nothing but climate change. Hot car, cold building, cold outside, warm inside. And so it felt like she was constantly tuning and detuning. And as a fretless instrument player, it started as a little joke. Like, you just always say it's your instrument out of tune instead of being like, I'm just terrible at what I do. so it's a little bit of, I guess, gaslighting Agnes.
Yeah, that's fair. Nice. And so for maybe people who, maybe this is their first introduction to you, especially here around Arkansas, I mean, what do you hope they kind of take away if they see your Tiny Desk entry or they go see you at the showcase this weekend? What do you hope that they take away from it?
Do you want to answer first?
Just good feelings, and we really enjoyed to play for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like 90% of why I do this is the connection piece. Mm-hmm. I could really care less most of the time about recording, but it's a necessary evil, I guess, of this work. But I just like connecting with people, and there's such a palpable feeling of connectedness when the crowd is really engaged and you're really tuned in, and it feels so special to be in the same place at the same time. So I want people to feel that. But I want musicians to also, especially younger musicians, especially string players, because it's a dying art, to see this and be like, oh, I can do something else with that instrument. Because I feel like it's so easy to get bored of it, because it feels like there's just this one road you can go down. You can play classical music, you can join an orchestra.
Right.
And I want them to realize that they can get creative and make it whatever they want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I know you've got this show coming up. What else is sort of down the pipeline for you guys? What new projects or maybe tours or shows are happening?
We're working on that. We're working on an album right now. It's a little bit slow going, but we have a few singles that are really close to being ready to push out to the public.
Nice. All right. Well, Auralai, thanks so much for being with me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.